Hey guys, back in the shop. I'm going to do some more work to the 4-door to 2-door conversion on the 71 Nova. Now, I've got to get the roof off this thing and I'm by myself, so I'm not sure how well that's going to work, but there's a ton of stuff we're going to have to do to this car. Very first thing I'm going to have to do after I get the roof and stuff off, I've got to clean up all the areas where I've got to weld to. And some of that you can see inside the car, right there against the inner quarter. I've got to get all that set in there just right, get it cleaned up so I can weld it. Same thing over here on the driver's side. All right, so the first thing I got to do is get the door off, get my 1 pin out. Get this out of the way. Now I'm gonna get this old nasty seat out. I stuck it in here because it was in my way. All right, now this next part, I'm not really sure how I'm gonna get this thing up. And I hope I'm not hollering at you. I've got a new microphone, I'm wearing it. It's a wireless mic, so hopefully that's not an issue. Hopefully you're not getting your ears blown out. All right, so as hard as this was to do with 2 people putting it on, I'm not sure this is something I can even do. I do have gloves this time though, so we'll see how that works out. At least I don't have to worry about damaging anything, right? Other than me, I got to worry about damaging me. I mean, I really don't want to twist this thing any more than I have to. But I'm just trying to get it off enough to where I can get it off out of the way enough where I can work on my welds or my weld surfaces and straighten up all the little flanges and clean up where I drilled out all the spot welds. Okay, gotta go more. Have I mentioned how bad of an idea this is? I mean, not just what I'm doing right now, all of it. Yeah. I can fix it. I can fix it. Maybe, maybe not. This is getting worse by the minute. Oh, I see what I'm calling now. Just broke my glasses, but that's okay. All right, I don't think I need to tell you how dumb that was for me to do that. Now, I broke a pair of glasses, but I'm still intact mostly, and the car's not damaged really, like you could tell if it was. But let's look at this roof section and look at the car and see what all I'm gonna have to do to get this thing ready to put back together. All right, so on the car first, I'm gonna get this little bit of quarter panel right here out of the way so that my other quarter panel that actually is completely rusted away right there, so that really doesn't matter, but I'm gonna go ahead and get it cut out of the way. I'm going to get this panel cleaned back up and straightened. I might get some of this off. Same thing on the other side. I got a little bit of cleaning up. some cleaning up to do here on these old welds where the quarter panel is actually going to set. And then I've got to do something here, add me a little 1-inch extension piece to come out and go up against the inner sail panel of the other piece, since these are shorter apparently on the 4 doors than they were on the 2 doors. This I'm still 100% sure is the same thing because I measured it 2 or 3 times. But this one little piece right here, you can see that comes in. This piece for the 4 doors is shorter and the 2 doors is farther out here. I guess something's different there, but it's not going to be too hard to figure out how to fix it. So just going to add a little 1-inch extension. And then I'm not going to worry about, I might cut some more right here and on the other side, but I'm not going to worry about the deck filler panel or the trunk or taillight panel or any of that stuff, the floorboards yet. But I'm going to get all this cleaned up, and then when I get done with this, then I need to come over here and figure out this section. Now, this part right here, not too bad. It's a little banged up. It's got some holes in it where my spot weld cutter went through. Not too big of a deal. This section right here, it's fine. I'll use those holes to weld through if I need to. Well, actually, I think this is on the outside. So yeah, I can still use those holes to weld through, not a problem. Same thing over here. The tops of these, I'm not too worried about. I've got to clean this one up a little bit more than the other side, but it's not bad. This section is good. This inner quarter right here that goes to the floor or to the rocker panel, I've got to straighten it up. It's a little bent up, but it's in pretty good shape until right back here there's a tear. But it's in good shape. It's just the spot weld cutter got twisted up in it, so it tore it just a little bit. But that's in pretty good shape. Now, the other side, not so much. It's pretty rusty. So what I've got to do, I'm going to fabricate a piece to match this side. And it doesn't have to be too exact and perfect because it's going to be on the inside and covered up. But my quarter panels are pretty much non-existent, you know, where the rocker panel meets, other than the very front of it. I'm going to use this part of it to locate the jamb where it needs to be. I'll tack weld it in place, get the inside tack welded in place. And then once I'm ready to put quarters on this or whatever I do, I'll have everything already in place and know where it needs to go. And that way I won't have to try to guess at it and try to adjust the quarters, you know, that way. And then I'm still going to have to do something with the roof skin that's rotted out in the back and these inner sail panels that are rusted out really bad. Now, these aren't as bad as like the budget Nova was, but they're still bad enough where I'm going to have to fix them. Probably. Yeah, that one's pretty bad. So across there, I've actually, what you're looking at is there's the, I think that's headliner trim or something right there. And you've got the inner panel here, which is not terrible. But the roof skin, it's junk. All right, so first thing I'm gonna try to do is try to clean up this edge a little bit. I'm gonna use a hammer and dolly on here. Now, I'm not gonna try to tell you how to do metal work, but if you're gonna use a dolly on something like this, I don't wanna stretch the metal. I just wanna use the dolly as a backing to kind of flatten everything out. If you put a lot of, if you hit this too much or very much at all really with much pressure, you're going to stretch the metal over the dolly depending on how you do it, and that's going to put you in a mess. So I'm just using this as a backer, not really trying to stretch the metal any. All right, I'm not sure if you can tell, but that's a heck of a lot better than it was. It should be at the right angle, or the correct angle. Yeah, we'll have to see about that. I'm gonna have to do something right here. This is really close. I think this little corner needs to be pulled up. I might, but it's kind of rusty right there. I might cut this section right here out and redo some of that and try to make it a little better. Okay, so you can see I made kind of a crude. I didn't use my brake because it's not here at the shop. It's at another shop. So I made a piece that's going to work, and it'll fit in there just right, I think. All right, so I got it clamped in place. See if I can tack it in real quick. And we'll take the clamps off after I get it tacked in a few spots and see how it looks. Once I put my new glasses on, since I broke my other ones. Okay, Oh wow, everything looks clear now. Funny how that works. All right, let's see here. All right, so it doesn't look terrible, doesn't look great. I need to come in here and clamp it and get some better welds. This metal, the old metal, is really, really thin. This is 18 gauge. So what I'll do is, finished product is all that matters. So I'll make this piece next and get it put in there. And then I'll come back and finish out this section after I copy it from this side, because it's got a little piece right there I'm gonna have to make. Then I'm gonna come back and fix this one. All right, so I got this side where I'm pretty happy with it. It's not bad, it's not great. It's not as, the lines on this side are not as crisp as the lines on this side, but that's okay. This one little section right here, I'm gonna leave that off until I get this thing set back on the car. And that way I can, you know, probably do that there instead of having it floating out here. I've got all my other edges straightened up. I did a little hammer and dolly work on them, not a whole bunch. So other than maybe sanding, the back is still metal, so I've got it cleaned off. I'm gonna drill some holes. I'll punch some holes in this and here to get it welded, do little plug welds to the rocker panel. So other than a little bit of punching holes, this is ready to go on. Now I've got to work on the car a little bit. Now, the inner quarters right there, they go on the inside of my wheelhouse. Now I think when I had this thing test fit, I had them sitting on this side, but they go on this side, which means this is in the way, and that piece of metal right there that's peeled back is also in the way. So I got to take those two off, get those out of the way so everything will fit, and then I got to clean up my rockers right here so I can weld to my rockers without too much trouble. And then I'll clean up this right here so I can weld to that. Other than that, not a whole lot to do, and I can set this thing back on there. All right, so I got these two pieces cleaned up. I've got them sanded down to bare metal. I've got my rockers sanded down to bare metal where the welding is going to go. And if you're welding on these rockers, a lot of these structure pieces are galvanized, and there's all kind of bad things that happen when you weld on galvanized, so make sure you're wearing protection. My buddy Joe's here. We're going to get this roof section put back on the car, and hopefully it's going to go on and fit pretty good, and it'll be ready to weld after I cut this back. I'm going to do that after I get the roof on there. I have to cut this back so I can get and weld this piece in. So the bottom and all that I can weld from inside the car. The center support I can also weld from inside the car, but the top of this one and the top of that one over there, I'm going to have to weld. I'm going to have to cut some of this out to get weld to it, but no big deal. I about fell when I took this thing off.
Well, how'd you do it? Did you get inside of it?
I kind of put it to the side, and then I got right here and picked it up.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
It's dumb.
Not like
dumb.
that's just heavy.
You'll see the video tonight or tomorrow. All right, so we're going to get this roof section. I got my buddy Joe here with me. He's the one dumb enough to want this car, if that works out. And we're going to get this roof section flipped over, set on the car. Hopefully not bend any of the stuff I've spent a few hours straightening out. And we'll see how this works. Yeah. And for you safety guys out there, we're wearing gloves this time, just so you know.
We're good. OSHA approved. How did I do this last time? All right, let's
think like this.
All right.
Flip it over. Will.
And we're gonna go all the way.
Yeah, we got to go like this, don't we?
Yeah, you got that. That's how we did it last time. Yeah, I remember it sucked last time too.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, there has to be an easier way.
They forgot to put the handles on this side.
Can't believe when Chevy made this, they don't give us handles. Look at that suspension, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, watch out for the...
I didn't eat my Wheaties this morning, apparently.
Okay, I gotta get a better spot than this.
You good?
Hold on a second. All right, go ahead.
You good?
I'm good.
Ouch. Pull yours out, son. Get it off the apron. There you go. All right, now, hey, on the inside,
Yeah.
the part with the holes in it goes on this side. So this part right here goes inside here.
Okay, my bad.
So
So I need to go to you then. So I'm
Yeah,
kinda-
a bunch.
There we go.
Hang on a second, let me.
Okay, I'm hung up back here.
Knock my microphone off.
Yeah, so that's bent. Okay.
Grab my microphone. The magnet on my microphone stuck to the side of the car.
So the holes, okay, so you're on that side.
I'm on the wrong side.
Oh, the holes are on the inside, the
Yeah.
near side, not the.
Mine's
These-
kind of cattywampus, ain't it? All right.
Okay, now where does this go on the seal? Does this go on this, outside of this, the rocker? Does this go here?
No, no, no. It goes inside right here.
So like where it's at now.
Where it's at, but it's got to come out some. You know, I'm not so sure that doesn't go on the two-door because I drilled through this.
Yeah.
That was on the inside of this, so that's right.
Okay, well look where we're at now. This is.
And I'm not far off.
Something. Okay, whatever.
It's got to go back some, definitely. I just don't know why it's not going back. This all was fine before. Oh, I'm hitting a quarter panel right here.
Okay.
Let me, probably the same thing. Well, this side, your side's almost all the way back. All right, I think back here on the wheel well.
Watch yourself. I don't know if I need to go up or down or whatever.
I don't know. All right, so we fought with this thing a little bit and got this side is fitting pretty good. It's got to go down just a hair, but it's touching where it needs to touch right there where I put the new metal on it. That side is pretty good in the front. Got to go down a little bit. The back is still up a little bit because the little box that's on top of the quarter panel right here is binding up where it slides over the inner and outer wheelhouse's joint. So I've got to get in there and cut that a little bit, and then the rest of it will go down where it needs to, and then I can start, I can get my doors on, check everything, and start welding there and on the inside of the rocker panel. And like I said, this side fits pretty good. It's nice and tight. This has got to come down a little bit, and this has got to be pushed down on there. This is all bent up from where I was trying to straighten it and drilling everything out and cutting the old piece off of it. So once I hammer this down, it'll be at the right angle. You can see where it's torn up right here. So we're in pretty good shape. The roof seam is a little off, but it's pretty close. I've got to do some more adjusting there. I'm going to tack everything in place, check the door fitment on both sides, and make sure before I do any final welding, I'll get everything kind of tacked in place and make sure that it's good. All right, so I got this side bent down. I mean, it's got to go a little bit, but it's pretty close. I finally got that side to go down, so it's in place. And I got a little bit of cleaning up to do right there in that corner. That up there was the problem. I peeled that back out of the way. Everything sat down where it needed to be. My roof is looking pretty good. This is a little bit off right now, but the rest of it, it looks pretty good. So I'm happy with how close everything is. Again, I'm going to have to cut this back to get to that intersection, but it's not bad. And look, I know that this is hackery at its best or worst, depending on how you look at it. But given the scope of what I'm doing, it's going to be fine, I promise. I'm not worried about it, and you shouldn't be either. So hopefully I'll have some welding done on this in the next day or so and get another video out on it. I've just still got to go pick up some parts for this pile back here and get started on it, but I'm trying to focus on the four-door right now. I've got to get a passenger door. I think I found a passenger door. I've got one I can at least put on here to test the fit of the back, so I can at least use it for that. So I have one. I can borrow the one off this car for that if I need to, but I still need to get one that's actually going to work. So anyway, pretty happy with it. It's going along great. Got some welding to do, got some trimming and fitting and some beating and banging, but we'll get there, and we'll see you next video.